Sandra, so we're looking at the variety of fractional word problems in the problem set. Sandra bought 2 3/4 yards of red fabric and 1 1/5 yards of blue fabric. How much fabric did she buy? Well, we're thinking of a total here. We're thinking of a total. So if we're thinking of a total, that means we're going to add 2 3/4 plus 1 1/5. But before I can add them, what do I need? I need a common denominator. So, what can I multiply those by? I'm going to go ahead and choose a denominator of 20, because I know 4 and 5 can both multiply to be 20. 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 1 times 4 is 4. So now I have 2 15/20 plus 1 4/20. Add the fractions first. 15 plus 4 gives me 19/20. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. She bought 3 19/20 yards of fabric. Jessica bought 8/9 of a pound of chocolates and 8 of a pound. Looks like we can't even do that one because it didn't print. There's an eaten pan of brownies on the counter. Only 3/4 of the pan is left. You decided to eat 1/3 of the brownies in the pan. How much of the whole pan of brownies did you eat? Well, I'm eating 1/3 of the pan of brownies, so I'm going to find 1/3 of the 3/4 because that's what's left in the pan. That means I'm doing 1/3 times 3/4, which gives me 3/12. If I simplify it, which I could have cross-simplified, I'd get 1/4. So, how much of the whole pan of brownies did I eat? I ate 1/4 pan of brownies. Fred picked 2 7/10 buckets of apples, and Nancy picked 2 4/5 buckets of apples. How many more buckets did Nancy pick? How many more tells me this is a subtraction problem. Well, Nancy picked more, right? That's what they're saying. Did Nancy pick? So Nancy picked more, so we're going to do 2 4/5 minus the 2 7/10. What denominator do we want to use? Well, 4/5 and 7/10, let's see, what can I multiply by? That giant 1. What can I multiply by so that way I get the same denominator? Well, I could multiply 5 times 10 to get 50, or I could know that both of them can multiply to be 10. So here I'm still with the 7/10. Here I can multiply 5 times 2 is 10, 4 times 2 gives me 8. So now I have 2 8/10 minus 2 7/10. My answer, fractions first. 8/10 minus 7/10 is 1/10. 2 minus 2 is nothing. So Nancy picked 1/10 bucket more of apples. Sally walked 2 3/4 miles before school and 2 1/3 miles after school. How far did Sally walk in all? So again, that's a total. We're looking at 2 3/4 plus 2 1/3. If you forgot how to find common denominators, like we did it there, I just did it in my head. We list the multiples of 4. List the multiples of 3. And we come up with something. That also happens to be what we can multiply 4 times 3 to get. So here I'm going to multiply by my giant 1. We get, and our goal is 12. Our goal is 12. Multiplied by that giant 1, we're going to multiply by 3 over 3. 3 times 3 is 9, multiplied by 4 over 4. 4 times 1 is 4, so now I have 2 and 9 twelfths plus 2 and 4 twelfths. Well, 9 plus 4 gives me 13 twelfths. That's more than I need. So I'm going to change that to a mixed number and regroup that. So 13 divided by 12 is 1 whole and 1 12th left over. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 4. So she walked 4 and 1/12 miles in all. Find the area of the composite figure. First, let's write the area formula. Area equals length times width. Length times width. So here we're going to do length times width. Make them improper. We get 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 thirds times 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 fourths. Go across, we get 50 twelfths. 50 twelfths is the area of that one. Here we go, we have 1 and 1/5 times 4 and 1/2. Before I can multiply, I need them to be improper fractions. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Oops. Multiply straight across and we get 54 tenths. 54 tenths. Now with these two, we need a common denominator before we can add them. But I see that these are both even, so maybe it will help me if I reduce these fractions a little. 50 twelfths is the same as, if I divide by 2, 25 sixths. 54 tenths, if I divide by 2, I'd get 27 fifths. Okay, still have different denominators, but I want to try to add those two. So I'm going to make a common denominator. Maybe I'll multiply just by the easy one, the other denominator. 5 times 6 is 30. 25 times 5. 25 times 5 is 25. 10, 12, 125. 27 times 6. Multiply the ones place, we get 42. 12 plus 4 is 16, 162. And we can add those together. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 6 is 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I get 287 thirtieths. 287 thirtieths. If you leave it like that, that is fine for your answer. Units squared. It's squared.